This is a bonus episode just for you amazing people on YouTube. Tomorrow, Saturday, the 12th of July, is the IBJJF. No, it's not an IBJJF. It's the Brazilian Jiu Jitsu British Open at the University of Warwick in Coventry tomorrow. It will be my very first UK competition. And I just want to thank you because I know some of you have been listening right from the very beginning, or at least kind of part way through this year, started listening from the beginning. I kind of held my head in shame because my early content, as every podcaster's early content, is not as good as the latest piece of work. But I just want to say thank you for listening. And some of the feedback that I've had that people have found enjoyable, to my surprise, is my competition journey. Now, at the very early start of podcasting for the Jiu Jitsu Lou podcast, I didn't have very many guests, and I was making it up as I went along and doing a lot of solo episodes because I just wanted to maintain the consistency and keep showing up. So today, this episode is about, it's not going to go out on the podcast channels unless, I don't have any production on this. So it's just me straight to camera, recording here. So yes, this is about my competition coming up tomorrow. It's my first UK competition. I'm very excited and nervous excited, as many of you will be if you are competing tomorrow. And some of you will have done competitions before. Some of you, this will be your first. But this is my first UK competition. However, in my very early white belt days, I decided to take the plunge, go for an IBJJF competition, and to even get a match. The local competitions weren't offering me any Masters 4 competitors in super heavy, which at that point was any female weighing over 79 kilos. Now, some of you may have noticed on the visuals that I have been going through my own weight loss journey for about the last year or so, and with a view to competing more. So my days back in Barcelona, I took the kids, had to deal with all the logistics, had gone out on my own, and a very kind and wonderful Instagram follower, Cara. Thank you very much for supporting me out in Barcelona. I now realize that you'd taken me under your wing, which was incredible. And we met up maybe an hour or so before I was competing and a little bit the day before. But what I realized was happening was that I was going through a massive adrenaline dump, and I really did feel completely spaced out. And I was so grateful that you and the kids were able to get me a chair just to sit down and, take a moment. It did feel like I was floating. I am mindful of that experience for tomorrow's competition. Even my heart's racing now. Oh my goodness. So thank you, Cara, for that. And I wish you all the luck if you're competing tomorrow. And thank you for your messages of support. So Barcelona was a breeze. It was very hot. Okay, it wasn't a breeze. I was in a 3-person bracket. There was a default bronze. I felt like it was just enough for me to show up. But that was in my white belt days. I have now spent the last year or so preparing myself for, I didn't know what or when, competition, because if any of you, obviously you are all listening and you all train Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and if you don't, then just give it a go. But there is some secret element of competition spirit, whether it's on the competition mats, whether it's at work, whether it's, just kicking a ball around with the kids and letting them win and suppressing your competitive spirit. The competitive spirit really has been building very secretly, and I've not really spoken about it to anyone. And I have mentioned that the British Open was on my radar from around December time. Now, it was completely on my radar until my rib got bruised, injured, broken. Nobody really knows, but sleeping at nighttime was very uncomfortable. In fact, even sleeping during the day, if you take day naps, which I am privileged to do, but life is far too busy right now. Um, so yeah, I've recovered, and maybe 3 weeks ago, I decided to actually jump in the ring and submit my registration through Smooth Comp for the British Open. There wasn't that sense of dread when I pressed confirm, register, pay, whatever. I kind of felt an inner peace actually. So I just want to thank you for listening so far. I'm going to be covering all sorts of things in this bonus episode. Um, but yeah, just generally my preparation. And it's going to be a little bit all over the place because whilst I have a mental plan when I'm speaking with guests, when you give me the mic, I will go with the flow. I've got some notes in front of me and, hopefully I'll cover everything. And if I don't, that's okay too. So, preparation for, I will stop talking and take a breath in a minute. I've also got my honey and lemon here, which I love to enjoy. It's very good for the voice. Won't be a moment. So, British Open, um, over 79 kilos last year in Barcelona. I have just checked back through my weight logs, and I was 103 kilos in May last year. So fighting any female in super heavy over 79 kilos. Um, Weight doesn't give you an advantage, as you will know. Um, and mindset, I believe, is the winner, and obviously technique and all of those other things. So I've been going through my own weight loss journey, and I have lost over 20 kilos in the last year. Um, and I'm feeling quite strong, actually. I am now a blue belt because shortly after Barcelona and the summer grading, whilst I was training under GB, I was promoted to a blue belt. Um, yeah, it was a nice thing. Expectations are always on you, but part of my journey is at least getting one competition in per belt, and this one is my blue belt competition. Now I have done a kind of small invitational competition thing a week after I got promoted to my blue belt, which was wholly scary. Again, turning up on my own, relying on the support of my amazing Instagram and YouTube followers. So thank you for that. And so I'm going this time. My coach will be there. I've got some fellow teammates. So I will be heading off to Coventry tomorrow morning, which is incredibly exciting. So it's been a bit of a journey. I have changed clubs. I am now training out of VT Jiu Jitsu over in Chippenham with Lee Remedios, which is incredible. And the mindset and attitude that I now feel to training, it's different days. It's a lot more chilled, a lot more relaxed. And I don't feel the pressure any longer to conform and be part of something very, very formal. It feels gentle and comfortable. Admittedly, the training doesn't feel gentle and comfortable. That I, occasionally ramp up and down my intensity on the mats, but it's just I love the style of training. So thank you, Lee. Thank you, VT Jiu Jitsu, because I've felt like my training has become more consistent, and it's about showing up and continuing all those consistency things for competition. So tomorrow there's a new weight category. So an amazing group of women headed up by Kira, who is one of my opponents tomorrow, and fighting and kind of trying to support new weight categories for us over 79 kilo women. So I am in a new category that the BJJ British Open have put in place. They've got an under 80 kilo, they've got an under 85 kilo, they've got an under 90 kilo, and I think an under 95 kilo. And maybe there was a plus one, but I'm in the under 85 kilos. So having dropped 20 kilos with the intent to lose weight, to get more competitors. Now, I know for some of you that sounds ridiculous. To me, my weight loss journey was ultimately about finding more competitors in my kind of weight category and age category. I've done a tick box with the weight category, but just being able to fight more women rather than, outweigh them or, not be quite as technical and quite as good. But here we are, ready for the under 85. I have been tracking my weight very carefully, as I do daily and have done for many, many years. So with my gi on, I am now 84 kilos. So hoping that all the calibration of the scales tomorrow are the same. Um, Else it's going to be, I don't know. I don't know what. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Positive thinking. Um, so that's the weight loss thing. New weight categories for women, which is incredible. And part of me signing up and that trigger to sign up was supporting the female community at competition. There are more and more of us competing, which is just incredible. And just, it's amazing to be able to support more women in competition at invitationals, because they've been popping up everywhere recently, and so many more female competitors, as well as supporting our male counterparts in their categories, which it is just amazing. The vibe of events like the recent Grapple Worlds that you may well have seen me at. Not my most comfortable experience being around lots of people in crowds. I kept myself kind of out of the way. But this is my safe space. I've got my honey and lemon, I've got my mic, and I've got my studio. So I'm happy. Yeah, so getting ready for tomorrow. I'm going to make weight. I am making weight with my gi on. It's really interesting, actually. I was weighing some of my no gi attire underneath, and there's a variance between kind of shorts and leggings. So I'm choosing the lighter options just to make sure that at the point that I weigh in tomorrow, 45 minutes before the match, which will be around, I don't know, 12:30, something like that. I will be ready without, I've got a backup gi. I've got a new gi that actually fits me. So some of you may well know, when I started training jiu-jitsu, I was handed an A5 gi. It didn't quite fit me at that point. Gi pants fitted, the jacket didn't quite. Tomorrow I will be fighting in an A2 short gi that hasn't had to be altered at all. The arms fit perfectly, the length, everything is fitting and feeling lovely. So I'm looking forward to stepping onto the mats in my new gi. Yeah, I'm not sure how messed up I'm going to get tomorrow, but a new white gi always feels like a bit of a target. But I'm ready. I'm ready for you, Kira, and I'm ready for you, Zoe, and anyone else I'm up against in the Masters 1 Blue Belt Absolute. So I'm Masters 4, and I have dropped down to Masters 1 just to get matches and support the female community. I had no competitors at Masters 4, but actually it's really refreshing to be in a younger age category. And I hadn't considered that was a thing, because when you first register for competition, you put yourself in at your own weight category and your own age category. I didn't know it was a thing to be able to change those options. And it was talking to one of my professors, Professor Stu, thank you, who is exactly the same age as me. And admittedly, he's a black belt, much more experienced, lots of different stuff, judo, all sorts of things, and very competitive. But he said to me about a year ago that he never ever fights in masters divisions. He always fights in adult divisions. And I was like, 40, 47, 48, that's pretty good. But you've got a lot more experience than me. You've got a lot more kind of life experience, and obviously you're a black belt. So how can I consider doing that? But the thought stayed with me over the last few months. And I thought, why not? if he can do it, so can I. So I just want you to, notice around you some of the things you see and hear that might be inspirational, that might just take a little bit of time to filter through to change your own actions, because that's the really important thing for me. You can be inspired by so many things, and I was inspired to change and feel comfortable about changing down age category. I'm ready for it. Some days with my weight loss, because I haven't been this weight for probably a very long time before children. And my eldest is now 14, so a good 15 years since I've been this weight consistently. And some days, I wish it was 20 years ago. I really do. Maybe even 25 years ago. So, you know, what's wrong with living out your youth and pretending that, life was 20 years ago? Obviously society is not 20 years ago, but well-being, mental growth, we can transport ourselves to any point in our previous lives, and live it as if it was today. So that's what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. Masters 1. I'm very excited. I think we're going to have fun. I've got a strategy. I'm not revealing that right now, because obviously maybe my opponents will be listening in. But this is a team event, not just VT Jiu-Jitsu with my team. Oh, my team. That feels so nice to say. So nice to say. Being part of a team and identity is fantastic. But the wider team, everyone I'm competing with, everyone I'm going to hopefully see tomorrow, it will be just such an incredible event. So preparation. For me, the last year and a half, nearly 2 years of doing Jiu Jitsu Lou podcast, has been growing, developing, preparing my off-mat training. I have learnt so much from all of you, whether you're listening and have given feedback or whether I've actually spoken to you on the podcast. I have learnt so much. Some notable things really for competition prep. Dr. Jen Jitsu, thank you. Sugar-free candies ready for tomorrow. I have a thing for licorice Catherine wheels without the pink bobbly or blue bobbly thing in the middle, just straight black licorice lace things. So that's my sugar-free candy for tomorrow. So if you see me peeling off a Catherine wheel, that's what they used to be called. I don't know whether the kids call it that these days, but you know what I mean, because you just know what I mean. So that's going to be my prep. Electrolytes are on my radar for tomorrow, just to make sure I am hydrated and feel great. Not really sure what my breakfast strategy, because I'm not fighting till lunchtime, but I've got a bit of a drive tomorrow morning with the kids, which will be exciting. Yeah, I mentioned earlier about my broken, bruised rib. I'm feeling okay, actually. I'm 6 weeks out today from that injury. But we all fight and, train to protect our, weaker zones, and then find our strength and advantage and work to our strengths and advantages, rather than focusing on some of the negative impact that jiu-jitsu has had on us. So that's my plan. My mindset is about self-belief. I've listened to so many of you and really been inspired by the positive belief in yourselves that you can win, but mostly by some of these young subs. Shout out to Stoomboy and everything that he's doing with young subs. These 11, 12, 13, 14-year-olds are just inspirational. They are tenacious, they are strong, they are, they're there, and I'm following you all, and I'm listening to your progress, your wins, your successes, and just all the ways that you're learning. I think we've got so much to learn, not just from the people that coach us, but just everybody in the community. We all have something different to offer and a way to interpret and understand ourselves in a different way. So yeah, had my hair cut recently. That was Monday, all sorted. Makeup, none. I just want to make sure that my eyebrows are there, because that's a thing. Otherwise, I look like a potato face. That's my assessment. If anyone's still listening, please don't laugh at potato face. My gi, that's all sorted. I've got a backup gi. Thank you to Kira for suggesting that I might need another one. That's been altered because the sleeves were too long. That's an A3 backup. I haven't weighed with that one. I'm hoping that will just stay in my bag because it needs an iron, really. I'll press it out tonight. Snacks. I've got some nice peanut bars, got my electrolytes. I've got my Catherine licorice wheel things. We're staying over, so that's all sorted. Travel. I've got a car full of fuel. I'll be driving up and taking it easy. Maybe instead of a tall black Americano tomorrow, I will be on the espresso. Who knows? Strength, yes, this weight loss thing. So I've always worked out on and off over the last forever years. But I started lifting weights when I was 13. Our school had a swimming pool back in the 90s, and a gym, so a weights gym, primarily because the PE teacher, had a mind to build up a weights room, which was great. So I was always in there, my leg strength, my bicep strength, and actually now the weight loss has happened for me, my strength and my muscles are appearing again, and I'm continuing to, drill moves and do maybe minimum strength and conditioning, but it's still there. So yeah, there we go. Muscles, they're coming back again. I'm quite pleased. They're not bad for a 48-year-old, although I have seen stronger 50-year-olds. So I've got a bit of time to go yet. I think that's about it. I just also want to reflect a bit on the Jiu Jitsu Lou podcast because I've recorded 92 episodes now to date, and that takes me up to around the end of August. And my 100 episodes, as you may well have heard, is the Saturday, the 25th of October. We have a venue booked now. I've still got to organise exactly what's happening, but it's going to be at Rising Tide Brazilian Jiu Jitsu over in Western Supermare. Paddy Webber's recently been on one of the episodes. Ian Rossiter some time ago. Martin and Chris, I'd love to have them on and to talk about their journeys, because podcasting is about a very individual journey. And just, you've all got such incredible stories. Even if, do you know what? The people that I've asked recently have gone, I'm not sure anyone's really going to want to hear my story. But you are the ones where actually you're underestimating your story, because people do want to hear. Yes, you, if you're watching or listening, it's you. Come on the show, book in. I've got 8 episodes. I would love to have more of you reaching out, because having that milestone and talking about your journey is just a kind of mini milestone to the overall journey that we're all taking in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. So 8 more episodes to record until I hit that magic 100. The celebration event, Saturday, the 25th of October. Do put it in your diary. I will send some reminders. I'll send some emails and invites. But I will be doing an open mat. I'd love to do an 8-person Grand Prix, similar to various other events. I've recently spoken with Chelsea Lee. She's offered to help me organise some 8-person Grand Prix stuff. I've got various other people kind of on the cards to support as well. I've got no idea on organising any of these events. This will be a first for me. But if any of you are interested in, if you have an organisation or a company and would like to sponsor the event, this is what I don't do. I don't ask for sponsors and support. All of this podcast stuff is just me creating content and hoping that you love it. Sometimes knowing that you love it because you tell me, and just building a presence so that people can feel comfortable. Some of the compliments I get about the show are that I speak with regular individuals like you and me, just to kind of benchmark our stories, just to share our stories and relate. They're so relatable. All of the things that we go through in life are relatable to other people. We may not think they are. We may think we're the only individual going through that, but of course we're not. Other people do too. And so many people learn and grow from listening to podcasts like the Jiu Jitsu Lou podcast. So drop me a line, come and be on the show, because it's really important to me to listen to your story, to empathize and resonate. I've had some incredible guests that equally say that they don't have anything to share or to talk about or a story. And then they blow my mind with incredible, overcoming fear, overcoming failure, overcoming all of those emotional human things, and just showing up and training Brazilian Jiu Jitsu on a regular basis, which is just incredible. So that's about it. Future for me, I've got my sights on gold for tomorrow. I would dearly love a well-earned medal. Gold would be fantastic. I'm not necessarily going with any expectation. For me in Barcelona, it was about having mat time. I just wanted more time on the competition mats because, I've referenced before, like flying, it's about the flight hours, or the air hours, whatever you kind of call it. It's the same for me. I want more time and more experience, because the more I can feel what it's like, the more I can experience what it's like, the more I'm going to be able to formulate my own growth and learn from some of those things. And like a lot of us say, that competition really is a way to test yourselves, and how far we've come, what we know, what we don't know. Just a great opportunity. Anyway, that's it for me. Next, getting through to 100 episodes would be amazing. It is going to be amazing. Come and join. I will work out the times and everything else for the 25th of October 2025. Come over to Western-super-Mare and just have a great time. And likewise, if you are wanting to get some coverage for your own brand, the Jiu Jitsu Lou podcast content now reaches, believe this or not, 3.5 million accounts every month, which is mind-blowing. I just on Instagram, I am over 500,000. And it's just incredible. It's all been organic. I'm not paying anyone. I'm not doing anything. I'm just showing up like we do on the jiu-jitsu mats. Just keep showing up. It's incremental growth. None of that can be taken away. It's all there. And I did a very interesting thing with ChatGPT. I don't use ChatGPT for anything apart from clipping up my video, which I will be doing to this. So let's see what it makes of this content. Yeah, I decided to go, Lou Temlett, podcaster. And it came back with, I'm quite embarrassed to say this, but I'm going to, why she's considered one of the best, or why I'm considered one of the best. I'm the UK's most prolific UK-based female Brazilian Jiu Jitsu podcaster. I now have, as of tomorrow, 85 episodes live. I've loved showing up. I've just enjoyed every single process, whether it's been recording at like midnight on a Saturday or Sunday night, or, writing show notes. So I listen to every episode. I write the show notes myself. I smile every time I listen back to the content, because your stories are just so beautiful. Another thing, it says it comes from a relatable perspective. I started as a white belt and I share my journey. And this extra bonus episode is part of me sharing my journey, because I have amazing guests and I don't want to interrupt the flow of the Jiu Jitsu Lou podcast with a solo episode just yet. So this is a bonus, YouTube only, and clips on Instagram. Makes the podcast, according to AI, super approachable and honest. Do you know what it is? Those are some of my very core values for all of this. Showing up as I am. Today it's a really hot day. I'm just, set my studio up, recording this, and, I'm here to go. Great guests. Of course, I have great guests. They're all of you. diverse mix of UK and international Brazilian Jiu Jitsu practitioners, coaches, competitors, and even Brazilian Jiu Jitsu parents. We know we're parents of Brazilian Jiu Jitsu athletes and kids, because we have to drive them there. And hopefully, if we're driving them there, we're then training ourselves, because it's a double whammy. It's bonus. They get to train, we get to train, and home life and lifestyle just becomes a lot calmer, because we can, know how to deal with unexpected, leg locks, or, cross collar chokes, or, triangles, which you'll all relate to. And for me, it's about supporting the community as well, promoting grassroots clubs, female events, mental health, most importantly, and part of it, giving back to a sport that I love. Growing up in the 80s and 90s, I didn't think ever I'd be doing martial arts. I'm a dancer. You've seen some of the posts. I've been partner dancing for 45 years. This is, no, over 30 years. That's an exaggeration. I've been dancing for 45 years, but partner dancing for over 30. And I feel like there's a lot of resonance. I know Kira, one of my competitors for tomorrow, is also a dancer. So watch this space. I think we're going to be, you know, whisking everything away on that mat tomorrow. It's going to be very, very exciting. Hopefully there'll be clips. I've got my kids there. They're going to be filming and taking photos. And if you see me tomorrow, do come and say hello. I've got some Jiu Jitsu Lou patches that I will be handing out, because if you don't already have one, then you can pick one up tomorrow if I have some left. There we go. Very, very exciting. I don't know whether you can iron them on, but they hook on buttons, they hook on key rings. And I'm sure that if you fancy sewing, then you can sew it onto your gi somewhere as well, but not if it adds any weight, if you're a very strict underweight category. Anyway, that's it for me. Gosh, 31 minutes end to end. This has been a joy. Thank you so much once again for listening. I love doing this stuff. You should take the mic. Don't ever put a mic in front of me, okay? Because I'm a secret performer. I'd love, I'm going to put this out there. I'd love to be on invitationals. I just want to see how tomorrow's progress goes. We're all performers at heart. Certainly some of us. I've had a kind of past career of performing on stage and doing various other things. But doesn't it give you fire and passion and fulfillment and kind of accomplishment to do some of these things outside of our comfort zone? Scary, brave, exciting, and hopefully, I'll be able to sit down and relax a bit and reflect on my own journey after competing tomorrow. Anyway, if you are competing tomorrow or any time for the rest of the year or even ongoing, best of luck. Focus on what you are good at. I'm not a coach. Don't listen to me. You know what you're good at. You know everything you need to know. Go and do it. Have fun. Thank you for listening.